All right.
Hey,
We are
welcome back,
back.
everybody.
Second episode. We're making moves, Josh. We're making moves.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Oh man. All right.
we got a show for you tonight, folks.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Kind of doing something a little bit different today. I know we said that we're going to do Wednesdays as kind of our current events type of issue, but we couldn't figure out what we wanted to do today, so we decided to go with current events.
Yeah, why not?
A lot going on in the world, and we're going to discuss it.
We're just gonna have to talk about it. I mean, what's going on? Who's right? Who's wrong? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
there's a lot of things going on. Yeah, we got three world conflicts that we're going to discuss this evening.
You know, we're gonna start off kind of at the most current one, and then almost work our way down if we have time. But who knows? Me and Josh like to yap, so we might just stay on one for a long time.
Hey,
Yep. All right. But before we get into it, make sure you guys also check out all the social medias. We got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Posts are up on all of them. Make sure it all gets going. But, Josh, why don't you let the audience know what we're going to be talking about first?
All right. First, well, last week, was it Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday,
the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was. Something happened in Southeast Asia.
No, not Southeast Asia.
Yeah, typically it's Southwest Asia.
Yeah, right. That's South China Sea.
And typically we're involved, but oddly enough, it's the other side of Asia, and we're not involved,
which is kind of new,
right? So yeah, Cambodia and Thailand are popping off.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I first saw this, I was like, I knew, like, just from like my ideas of like world areas that about the nations who don't like each other, I knew they were on the list, but like I think like since 2009, there's been like a huge ceasefire, and hasn't been a conflict. It's just been really tense over there.
Yeah, this is a subject that I'm not very well versed on. I know there have been conflict in that area for at least decades. I mean, go back to the Vietnam War.
Yeah,
that whole area has been a hotbed for conflict. I'm just not super familiar with it and the history behind it.
Well, the good news is you don't need to be super versed in a lot of things, because almost like everything else, a lot of it stems from France.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this like goes back to like colonial times. Like,
yes.
Like far, far, far back.
Yeah, 17th century France.
Yeah.
Coming in and actually being invited in.
Yeah.
By which side was it? Let's see. Thailand seized power from Cambodia. I think it was Cambodia.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cambodia invited France to come in and make Cambodia its protectorate.
Yeah, and this was like in the mix of all the big nations, kind of like carving up the world and claiming parts of it for itself, right?
Yes.
And France carved out Cambodia. And then what kind of happened is when they carved out Cambodia, now Thailand was still there, but it wasn't Thailand. What was the name? I kind of forget. And Thailand was kind of stuck in the middle of two world powers carving out its neighbors, and they had to give up territory to what is now known Cambodia. And that's kind of like the originating of how this all kind of happened. And a lot of it since then has just been border disputes, like normal border disputes like you'd see with like India and Pakistan or any other ones.
Right. Stemming back to the French.
Yeah. So, yeah, the French kind of drew a line, not a very good line.
Not a good line.
And two nations have been arguing over like specific temples in the area since then.
Yes.
And
So
yeah.
the God, I can't. I did a little bit of research on this today to try to get a grasp on it. But I think it's Thailand. No, Cambodia uses the French
Mhm.
interpretation of the border,
Yes.
whereas Thailand uses the more current UN resolution border, which uses the natural watershed and terrain features as the borderline.
Yep. And like and the reasons for this is like because it's just two nations who are going to argue with each other, right? And
Right.
neither of them, just to be clear, are like neither of them don't have a massive military either. Like I think
No.
Cambodia has like 20,000 troops, 25,000 troops.
Yeah, of the two nations, I mean, Thailand is both the most powerful military and economic
Yeah.
of the
And
two countries.
yeah, and this all kind of stems back and Thailand's been like trying to reclaim the territory since World War II because Thailand actually sided with Japan in World War II. And one of the promises Japan gave them was they would help take back territory that was taken from them in like the 1700s. And Japan did do that. Like Thailand seized back the border disputed lands that it wanted back. And then we all know what happened at the end of World War II in the Pacific Theater was all of it went back the way it was before the war.
Right.
None of that territory stayed Thailand's. And it's just kind of been like that up until 2009 because there was another border dispute and shots were fired and they ended up getting a ceasefire. And that kind of brings us up to where we are now, where we had, I think it was like late May, we had somebody, a Cambodian soldier shot. And then more recently, a Thailand soldier got blown up by a landmine.
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
whole area, it revolves around an area known as the Emerald Triangle.
Mhm.
I think I have a map. Did I lose it? Uh-oh.
I also have something if you don't have something.
Okay, yeah, if you got
So
so
this,
we can let our viewers see where we're talking.
yeah, so this is the disputed areas right now.
There you go.
And these areas, and this is what Josh was just talking about, is in most of these areas there are temples that have a lot of pride in both nations, and both nations kind of want to own them, right? Or at
Yeah.
least seize control of them. And like, can you see my mouse too? That'd be cool.
No.
No, that'd be really cool because I'm just circling something. And I'm like, I wonder if they can see it or not. But so both Thailand and Cambodia patrol their borders, right? Because as you said, they both see the borders differently than one another.
Yes.
And what happens in is two militaries met up on the border, and instead of normally just ignoring each other, one side opened fired on the other, and then the other side returned fire, and I believe that's 100% what kicked it off most recently.
Yeah, in 2000 the 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was May 28th.
Yes.
Near the Emerald Triangle. So the Emerald Triangle is on this map the area where Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia, where their borders meet. So the far eastern red dot
Yes.
there, that's the Emerald Triangle. And yeah, a Cambodian soldier died. Um, and of course, both countries are like, it was their fault. We didn't
Mhm.
start it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly what's happened.
it's the whole Boston Massacre thing.
Mhm.
Whose fault was it? Was it the soldiers who fired on the mob, or the mob's fault for throwing stuff at the soldiers?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Um,
and did you hear about the call the prime minister had?
the yes, with the again, I can't remember. She is the
Prime
the
Minister of
camp
Thailand, I
the prime
believe,
minister of Thailand. Yes.
because they are both functioning democratic monarchies, I believe is the word. Kind of
Right.
like kind
And
of like the UK.
I think
They have a parliament.
yeah, I think Cambodia leans a little more on the communist side.
Yes.
But yes, they are more monarchy than I guess like England is a constitutional monarchy.
Mhm.
Um, so they're probably kind of similar to that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I did read a little bit into that phone call.
Yeah. And so to understand exactly me and Josh are like, let's talk about this random phone call, is you have to understand that Thailand in its relationship to its military is very close. Um, so much so that the military often has controlled the government in Thailand until they've elected someone,
Mm.
and the government controls a lot of any sort of functionality. And what happened is the prime minister of Thailand called a family friend who I believe was the ex prime minister of Cambodia, right? Um,
Um, yeah. So okay. So what I've got here is from the New York Times.
mm,
In June, Miss, I'm going to mispronounce this, but Miss Paitongtarn
mhm,
spoke by phone to Hun Sen, Cambodia's de facto leader,
yeah,
and Mr. Hun Mane's father to discuss the escalating border tensions. Mr. Hun Sen has had close ties to her father, a former prime minister of Thailand, and the leader of a powerful political dynasty, as well as one of the country's richest men.
yes. And I know in this phone call, the Thailand prime minister criticized the military, and that led to a bunch of stuff happening in Thailand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, it led to more or less her ousting.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, didn't she get ousted by the government for criticizing her military's
Um,
actions?
she has been suspended
Mm,
by the Thai courts.
mm.
So I am not sure who is running the country now.
I'm sure it's just a de facto placeholder right now.
Probably it is probably one of the military leaders.
Yeah, so at the moment, oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah, I think at the moment they are in the military role, but give me one second. If I can type, that'd be fantastic. Um, yeah, so at the moment, I believe that there's not one. Oh, there we go. I got it. While an investigation underway, Deputy Prime Minister Surya Jangra Granugit has been appointed the acting prime minister. And let me figure out who you are. So while she's suspended at the moment, while the border conflict's still going on. Okay, he was the deputy prime minister before her, so he just kind of took over in her
Okay,
spot while she's
so
been gone.
So kind of like
Yeah, like a
our
VP.
system.
Yeah. Now, something else a lot of people have been speculating online is this just a proxy war between the United States and China? Of the opinions, Josh?
I have not seen that.
So, just to be clear, I don't think that's what's happening at all. But I understand where people get that because so Cambodia and China have a very close relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of Cambodia's military equipment is Chinese made.
And on the other side, most of Thailand's military equipment is given to them by
U.S.
the
made.
United States.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have both those two nations. And let's be honest here, like it's not a good look for, for this to go on. Now, I don't know what you think, Josh. I personally don't think this will escalate any further. I don't think that
No.
it will.
Um, yeah, I don't think it's going to go. I don't think it's going to go the direction of like Ukraine and Russia.
No.
Um, this is, I think, just posturing, more Cold War esque
Yeah.
type of
Also,
conflict.
I don't think either country has a reason to invade the other. Like
No.
like a true reason. And both their militaries are just not equipped to invade somebody and hold their ground, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, with that being said, when it comes to calls for ceasefire, Malaysia has called for ceasefire because their
Mhm.
prime minister is the head of I forgot the name of the organization. Oh my god, he's the head of like a peacekeeping area in Asia, and Thailand and Cambodia both say they want a ceasefire, but I don't think they really do because they're rejecting any form of talks from Malaysia. And Thailand says it doesn't want to speak to China, and Cambodia said it doesn't want to speak to us.
Right.
And Thailand's calling for a two-party system, like bilateral talks between
Mhm.
Cambodia and Thailand.
Yeah, and I know,
Mm.
of course. I mean, you said with the peace talks and everything. Um, Trump has inserted himself into it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, so he put out a tweet here.
God, remember what happened when presidents used to like call meetings, but now it's just, hey, look, I tweeted something.
Right. Let's see. Which tab am I on? There we go. All right. So here's a tweet from Trump. It says, I just had a very good call with Prime Minister of Cambodia and informed him of my discussions with Thailand and its acting Prime Minister. Both parties are looking for an immediate ceasefire and peace. They're also looking to get back to the trading table with the United States, which we think is appropriate to do until such time as the fighting stops. They have agreed to immediately meet and quickly work out a ceasefire and ultimately peace. It was an honor to deal with both countries. They have a long and storied history and culture. They'll hopefully get along for many years to come when all is done and peace is at hand. Look forward to concluding our trade agreements with both.
Yeah, and this is a good segue to bring up the fact that the tariffs on them would just that are coming up,
Yeah.
right? Would like ravage their economies when they already have because Thailand canceled all trade with Cambodia, and Cambodia
Mm,
was like, "Well, I don't want to trade with you either." So both their economies are kind of going down right now.
right.
Um, Now I'm gonna be real, and this is just what I think. The only actual third party that can probably force them to call a ceasefire is probably China. Um, China's in their area. They have a close tie with Cambodia.
Yeah. Um, and it could, I mean, I could see that whole, you're talking about proxy war between
Mhm.
China and the US. Um, just this being another world zone of tariff war between China and the US.
Yeah, yeah, but I
Because I
mean,
know the president did put pressure on both Cambodia for sure, but I think Thailand as well. Economic pressure on both of them to stop fighting, or trade will stop.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, like I truly don't think people understand how close the United States is to Thailand
Yeah.
or Cambodia. Like we have, I was just talking before this episode started because I didn't know about Cobra Gold beforehand until I looked into this. But yeah, we do jungle training exercises with Thailand. When I learned that, I mean, this is completely off topic, but I feel like I have to bring up the Cobra blood, where U.S. Marines drink Cobra blood as a rite of passage. And China has their own military exercises with Cambodia. They put out a press release saying how they are very close and have a strong relationship, and they will do nothing but try to end the conflict.
Right.
Yeah. So exactly how long this will last, I truly don't know. Because like this isn't a newer thing. This is a stack of tiny incidents that have been going on for so long. I don't know how it will end.
Yeah. This has been going on since like the 12th through 14th century.
Yeah, so when you were like a little kid.
Yeah. When I was just a wee lad. Yeah, I don't think it's anything that will end anytime soon, but I don't think it's anything that will escalate much further than it already has.
No. And there's
It's
going to be
much,
more to come.
yeah, it's much like the border conflicts between Pakistan and India.
Except those two are both have nukes, but
yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't really shoot at each other. They just dance at each other and like peacocks ruffling their feathers. And
Is the way to end the Thailand Cambodia border conflict is to do more dancing.
just a dance off.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Guardians of the Galaxy style.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what America should start pushing on these nations, to have more dance competitions.
More dance competitions, yeah.
And I think we would see a lot more world peace.
Yeah. So I would like to, now that we've kind of got our little 20-minute discussion, I found a short little 5-minute video.
Sure.
That's just a good Cliff Notes version of what's going on over there for our viewers who are not as well versed as I mean, we're not well versed in it either, but just kind of give you a little idea of what's going on. We'll watch this here. We'll discuss it. All right.
On July 24, 2025, tensions between Cambodia and Thailand erupted into the deadliest border clash in over a decade. Thai F-16 fighter jets bombed Cambodian military positions after Cambodian artillery strikes killed at least 14 Thai civilians, including children. The violence centered around the Prasat Tamuen temple complex, a centuries-old Hindu site nestled in the rugged Dangret Mountains, also known as Tamuen. The death toll has
So those are the temples that we were talking about.
Yeah.
All along that borderline, these temples are built high up in the mountains, in the jungles,
And
and
both
nations claim ownership of them.
Yep.
And the people living in those areas have cultural and ethnic ties to both nations.
Yep. And that kind of explains why things get so heated on their border.
climbed to 33, with 20 killed in Thailand and 13 in Cambodia, including both civilians and soldiers.
Now, this terrifies me.
Yeah, the drone.
Yes.
Yeah.
As a veteran, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we're going to do about it. I know our Defense Department has got something, but yeah.
Well, and we'll if when we segue to Ukraine, we'll talk a lot
Yes.
about how this drone warfare has made nations with not that large a military be able to back down big countries.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I want to highlight is right here. We'll go back a little bit.
As Samuel, the death toll has climbed to
So
33 with
I don't know. I can't remember if this is in Thailand.
Mhm.
So this is Cambodia firing into Thailand
Yeah.
and saying they're targeting military targets. This
This does not look like a military target.
this is a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Literally a 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
climbed to 33
Yeah, because we had Cambodia shooting missiles into Thailand, and then Thailand using F-16s to strike
Mhm.
in Cambodia. So
Right. Again, the
If-
disparity between the two militaries.
yeah, and maybe we weren't clear enough exactly. This isn't just people standing on the other side of a border. This is branching out into a conflict. Just how long
Yes.
it lasts is the question.
Yep.
with 20 killed in Thailand and 13 in Cambodia, including both civilians and soldiers. After days of deadly exchanges and mass evacuations, Thailand has now confirmed a ceasefire agreement signaling a potential end to the crisis. But the damage is already done. Over 168,000 people displaced, diplomatic ties strained, and international pressure mounting. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has claimed credit for brokering the peace, stating he personally urged both leaders to halt the violence and threatened to suspend trade deals if fighting continued. Whether the ceasefire holds remains to be seen, but for now, the guns have gone quiet. But
So that's good news.
Yeah.
That, I guess you can call it a tentative ceasefire. Whether it is due to their own fruition, saying, hey, okay, we slapped at each other, or, it could be, that economic pressure that Trump did put on them,
Yeah. Well,
or that economic pressure China has put on them.
I mean, like, I think it's difficult because, like, obviously, me and you will never understand why the temples are so important, right? Because
Yes.
it's not our culture. But the issue of what's going on right now is, unless there's an actual way for both of them to be happy, we'll have another one. This is something that won't end. And I mean they're going to start holding talks soon, but who actually knows how long those talks will last? Because like we just talked about, they had what looked to be a permanent ceasefire in 2009.
Yeah.
And that was 2009, right?
Mhm.
Like that was a long time of peace on the border, right? But what's going to stop it from breaking out again? And I think maybe the world's too stuck on not making permanent solutions. And you know what? Maybe Cambodia and Thailand don't want a permanent solution.
Right.
You know?
I think the only way this does end, it ends in one of two ways. It does escalate into full-blown military conflict,
Mhm.
over control of the area of that region, or it could just continue the way, maintain a status quo. Every so often they'll just fire at each other. But I wonder if something like, there's a bunch of these temples in this area.
Yeah.
is there a way to demarcate the border in which those temples are equally separated between the two nations?
Well,
You know, find some kind of compromise where each nation gets something.
yeah, and
out of it.
I think the idea of a compromise is good, but I also think that since one of them's US backed, one of them's China backed, that it would take
That
an
would be hard.
actual third party.
Yes.
That's not China or the United States.
Right. And that has been part of the problem as well, is because the UN has stepped in.
Yeah.
And has demarcated the border as using the natural watershed and topography, which favors Thailand.
Yeah. And I think truly is like there's a possibility of possibly just starting a neutrality zone and just pushing their borders back even more and just making an entire neutral strip along the nations that's patrolled by a peacekeeping force. But even that's not a permanent solution.
Right.
It just kind of reminds me kind of Korea, where you just had a line and now there's
Yeah.
DMZ.
The only difference is the two parties in Korea are not fighting over that line.
No, that you're right.
And I can see what you're saying. It would end up having to be like the UN that steps in and controls that area.
Yeah.
But then you have, I don't think either side would be happy.
No, but
because I don't know if they want, because Cambodia definitely doesn't like the UN because of the current UN map.
yeah, and Cambodia likes China, but Thailand doesn't like China.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a mess, and I think only time will truly tell how it's going to look, because what I truly think is the most accurate things what's going to happen is we're going to start maintaining the status quo again, where either these talks in Malaysia are going to go great or they're not, and fighting will break out more, and then we'll have an actual ceasefire, or either it goes into a full-blown conflict and it's just us watching each other.
Right. And we might get to see how good or bad China's army really is.
Yeah. But on a side note, I truly don't think China would get involved with it against the US ally. I think that would just be kind of political suicide.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's continue.
Remains the same. Why were Cambodia and Thailand fighting? The conflict goes back more than 100 years. The border between Cambodia and Thailand stretches 817 kilometers. Much of it was drawn by the French in 1903.
All right, so this is I'm guessing the French border.
Which gives Cambodia control.
Yes. I believe, I don't know, this, can you see my?
Yeah, I can.
That's weird. I think that might be this line. That's Cambodia.
And then we have Laos up top, and then this side we have Thailand.
Yeah. And I think it'll show us the next.
7, when Cambodia was under colonial rule, but many parts of the border were never clearly.
So here's the new. So that's the current line right there. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, so this used to be the border of Cambodia, the extent of Cambodia's border.
Yes.
Right here, according to France. And now that border goes more up through here.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised France hasn't gotten involved in this at all.
Well, France is no longer involved in the area. They left.
No, but it's kind of their fault.
Yeah. And, yeah, I think they're just like, you know what, we're done with you guys. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
But we don't have much place to talk. We're
No.
pretty good at doing that too.
No, and
We're going to destabilize this region and then just leave.
Yeah, we're kind of famous for that, actually.
Yeah.
But I mean, like we said earlier, and then this video is kind of explaining. This all goes back to colonial France, and where all the nations were just kind of carving up Asia, saying that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. And well, this is a great example of what happens when nations just start destabilizing regions, because more than 100 years later, we're still arguing about a Frenchman's map that he drew.
Yep.
Yeah.
In 1907 when Cambodia was under colonial rule, but many parts of the border were never clearly marked, especially temples like Priya Vihar Temple, Tamuen Thom, which is also called the Prasat Tamuen, Tak Krabi, Tamuen Toch. Both countries use different maps to claim this land. Cambodia relies on colonial era French maps. Thailand wants the border to follow the natural watershed line, meaning rivers and mountains. This disagreement has led to military patrols, landmine explosions, and even civilian evacuations, especially in forested and remote areas. The most sensitive zone is the Emerald Triangle, where Cambodia, Thailand, and Laos meet. This region is rich in ancient temples, dense forest, and sits at a strategic height. It was once a Khmer root stronghold and a battlefield during the Third Indochina War. Today, it's a hotspot for nationalism, where both Cambodia and Thailand send troops and visitors to assert control.
So that statement to me is wild.
Which one?
So this area, that the Emerald Triangle, and the areas where these temples are that they are fighting over, both the Cambodian and Thai governments send military patrols through those areas to assert control, which is kind of expected.
Yeah.
But they also send visitors. So I take that. So they send troops and visitors to assert control.
Well, if there's a bunch of people from Thailand just chilling at this memorial and this old temple.
So there is state-sanctioned tourism.
Yes.
In military hotbed zones.
I think it's a form of soft power.
Yeah. That they're just using civilians to assert military control.
Yeah. I think which really drives me nuts, right, is why are all the temples on the border? Like, there's just a bunch of these temples just on the border. And God, France, man, the original borders weren't drawn well at all.
Right. So I think with the temples, the location of the temples, of course, those temples were built
long before there was
1,000 years ago.
There, yeah,
800 to 1,000 years ago. And from my understanding, these temples are on the mountain ridge.
Mm-hmm.
So at the top of these mountains.
Yes.
They are Hindu temples. And you see this across multiple religious cultures, that they like to build their temples as high up as possible, as close to the heavens as possible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's my understanding of why the temples are where they are. It's just the two different countries fighting over who they belong to.
Yeah. And it's just so odd. But I mean, like, the title of the video, you know what I mean? Who's right? Who's wrong? In this specific instance, France is wrong. Yeah. And then Thailand and Cambodia are just kind of stuck in the middle.
Yeah. It's one of those unfortunate side effects of the colonial period. There is a lot of bad that came out of the colonial period, but also a lot of good that came out of it. A
I mean, there's a lot of bad.
lot of bad.
A lot of bad.
But yeah, it's regardless if it's good or bad, it is the way it is because of that country's what's the word I'm thinking of? Them being there.
The occupation.
Yeah, the occupation.
Yeah.
Just whether that occupation was good or bad.
Yeah.
This situation is because of that occupation.
I mean, yeah, I'm a history major. The main thing that we all say to each other is, let's not repeat that.
Right.
Yeah. But let's continue on with this video.
Third control.
Is it just gonna start?
The most
shining all
iconic
the
flashpoint
temples
is the
are?
Priya Vihar Temple, a 900 years old Hindu shrine dedicated to Lord Shiva, perched atop a cliff in Cambodia's Priya Vihar province. Though the International Court of Justice (ICJ) awarded the temple
Pause this here so everybody can kind of read this.
Yeah.
So in its judgment delivered today, the court by 9 votes to 3 found that the temple of Priya Vihar was situated in the territory under the sovereignty of Cambodia, and in consequence that Thailand was under the obligation to withdraw any military and police forces or other guards or keepers stationed by her at the temple or in its vicinity on the Cambodian territory.
Yeah, and something just to also mention here: Thailand does not recognize the International Court of Justice, the ICJ's authority
Right.
over this region at all.
Yeah, so they just basically tell them go kick rocks.
Yeah.
to Cambodia in 1962, Thailand continues to dispute the 4.6 square kilometers of land surrounding it, citing inconsistencies in colonial map. In 2013, the ICJ reaffirmed Cambodia's sovereignty over both the temple and its immediate vicinity, but Thailand rejected the ruling's broader implications. The temple's listing as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2008 further inflamed the Thai nationalist sentiment, leading to deadly clashes that year, and again in 2011, when artillery exchanges killed dozens.
So if I remember correctly, being labeled a UNESCO heritage site while being told that it's under Cambodian control just further solidifies Cambodia's ownership of it.
Yeah. And
because that's the UN giving them, the UN will basically give them Cambodia funding to help maintain and preserve the site.
Yeah. So the ICJ, which has recognized and put on the record multiple times, they are Cambodia's temples. Like they fall under Cambodia's map. And I mean, realistically, I'm not taking team to Cambodia or team Thailand here, but it seems clear that the international community has stamped who owns the temples.
Yes.
And I think that's also leading to a lot of the conflict.
Yeah.
The Prasad Tamuen complex, where the latest violence erupted, includes 3 temples: Tamuen Tom, Tamuen, and Tamuen Tot. Built during the Khmer Empire, these temples straddle the border and feature Sanskrit inscriptions, shivlings, and south-facing sanctuaries, an architectural anomaly that underscores their historical significance. Cambodia claims the temples based on French-drawn maps from 1907, while Thailand argues the border should follow the national watershed line, which places the temples within Thai territory. Despite multiple bilateral agreements, including an MOU signed in the year 2000 and the establishment of a joint border commission, progress has stalled. Cambodia prefers international arbitration, while Thailand insists on bilateral negotiations. This divergence in approach has left the border undemarcated and volatile, with both sides maintaining military outposts and conducting patrols in contested zones.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
they just have reinforced concrete cinder blocks big enough to house humans to hide in.
Well, let's something that we didn't talk about earlier is this is what 2 days of conflict since Thursday, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 163 people just displaced. I mean, like
Yeah.
over 20, 30 people killed. Like this is not just a simple border dispute, right? This is a very complicated thing.
Yeah, and like I stated earlier, because the people that live in this region, they speak both languages.
Yeah.
They are religiously connected. So it's like they have almost like their own identity apart from the two. You know, they're in that space between.
Yeah, and
and can almost be their own sovereign country.
well, there's a lot of things splitting Thailand and Cambodia. There's obviously the US and China influence, right? And then there's the temples.
Right.
Right? Because like two world adversaries, the United States and China, right? We have Washington backing Thailand and we have Beijing backing Cambodia. And they're both kind of been put in the middle of this where they obviously don't like each other and they're definitely getting backed by people who don't like each other.
Yeah.
So it's only realistic that they have these clashes. We aren't setting them up for success here.
Now,
human toll is staggering. Over 120,000 civilians have fled border provinces in both the countries. Hospitals have been shelled, schools closed, and diplomatic ties downgraded. Cambodia has banned Thai media and imports, while Thailand has sealed border crossings and recalled its ambassador. Unless both nations commit to trust building, demilitarization, and clear border demarcation, the temples that once symbolized shared spiritual heritage may continue to serve as battlegrounds for geopolitical rivalry.
Yeah, thank you for that video. Make sure you guys check out the India Times.
Yeah, I'll link the video in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah. So this border dispute hopefully comes to an end, but who truly knows?
Yeah,
I think only time will tell.
And I like that video. I don't know which side of this fight the creator is on.
It sounded like Cambodia, but
he seemed to be on the side of the temples.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was that one segment like it's the temples are becoming, you know, the epicenter of the fighting.
Yes.
You know, and regardless of what you think of the temples, the history behind it, the religiousness of it.
Yeah, the temples need to be preserved.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, hopefully they're gonna, like the video explained we've talked about before, they're gonna have talks with Malaysia, right? But truly what's going on right now is like to understand why this isn't ending this fast, because Thailand wants bilateral talks where they just want to talk to Cambodia and figure something out. While in Cambodia, I understand where they're coming from too, is they don't want to have bilateral talks. The entire international community has recognized their authority over the temples. Why would they want to talk to Thailand?
Right.
And unless those two come to an agreement, I truly don't think, and it can't be forced upon them. I think truly Cambodia and Thailand need to have their own talks and figure it out.
Yeah. I don't think any amount of coercion from international communities is going to do anything.
No.
Except make it worse.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, anytime I feel like one of the big three dip their toes in something, it just explodes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's the kind of I'd say quick rundown. I mean, we're 50 minutes on that topic.
What we said at the beginning of this live that we like to yap, all right.
Yeah. But before we go on, we're going to go to Ukraine next.
Yeah.
So before we go on to Ukraine, I want to give our viewers a little bit of a treat.
Okay. This is new to me, people. I don't know what's going on.
You brought up Cobra Gold.
Oh yeah, I did.
Cobra Cobra Gold is I think it's an annual training that our Marine Corps does with the Royal Thai Military. I don't know if it's their Army or Marines.
I think it's the Marines.
It's our Marines, but I don't know if the Thai military has Marines or if it's just Army.
Yeah.
But it's yearly training, jungle warfare training we do with the Thai military. And just a quick, it's like 3.5-minute video showing that, just to kind of give you guys why the U.S. could be interested in this conflict, because we do have ties to Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
And
Let me restart that. Sorry.
training we had this morning, we did the jungle survival, and during the jungle survival they were showing us like different foods to eat, how to build a fire, things to stay away from, animals to stay away from, animals you can eat. It was super interesting. It was cool. So
That's metal right there. I mean, the dude just tore into a lizard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is just kind of interesting stuff. I mean, it's like we don't have a lot of jungle warfare anymore.
No, not since Nam.
And some people would question, well, why are we training for jungle warfare if we're not conducting jungle warfare? Simple answer, as somebody who's in the military, we train for everything. We have units that specialize in cold weather training.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case something pops off, we have somebody who can do the task.
Yes. But yeah, the United States and Thailand have been doing this for a number of years, correct?
Yeah, I mean, this is from 2019.
Yeah, a number of years.
While this is going, I'll see if I can see how long this training has been going on.
we started off with more plants and vegetables and fruits. Some of them were good, some of them were a little rough. This kind of training for me is important because, say, like the Marine gets lost or anything, this is like something they can fall back on that will kind of show them how to survive if they're lost in somewhere like here.
ก็อันดับแรกก็คือของอเมริกันนะครับจุดแรกก็คือสิ่งที่เขามาอยู่ในประเทศไทยคนของเขาจะอยู่ไงให้ปลอดภัยอันดับแรกก็คือเรื่องสัตว์มีพิษหรือสัตว์ร้ายในประเทศไทยเนี่ยเขาให้ความสำคัญอันดับหนึ่งนะครับอันดับที่สองก็คือความเป็นอยู่ของเขา
Barbecue.
ถ้าเขาอยู่
Barbecue, yeah.
เขาจะสามารถเอาตัวรอดในประเทศไทยได้ไหมที่เรามาแนะนำมาสอนในวันนี้
It's a pineapple.
Hell yeah,
I mean,
man.
a big
Fresh
thing that
pineapple.
they kind of showed us like how to survive was like with building fires. If you can't build a fire and it's too cold, you need to know how to build a fire. And for one, you can cook your food, boil your water with that. I feel like that's a really big step for surviving if you're ever lost.
Just
we ate some cobra's blood.
whole
or
ass
drank some
live.
cobra's
There
blood.
it is.
There it
That's,
is. It was
yeah,
oddly
that's
sweet.
that's the
It
big
tastes like-
thing.
That's the money shot right there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I saw when I started researching this topic.
I know a couple years ago, some animal ethics group got really mad at the Marine Corps, and I don't know if we still do this anymore. The training still occurs, but I don't know if this part of it happens anymore because of that.
I mean, or it's just not recorded.
Right. This is just a rite of passage.
Yeah.
There are no health benefits to drinking cobra blood. It's
really
not
a
going
lot
to
of
save
health.
your life or anything. It is just, I passed this training.
I bet you
This
there's probably some
sucked.
negatives.
Right.
Probably drinking the blood, actually.
Yeah, it's just, this training was a hardship we had to endure.
Mhm.
And at the end of it, I could say I drank the blood of a cobra.
Yeah, I mean,
It's there's nothing more U.S. military than that. It is part of embracing the suck.
yes.
You make fun of the worst times of your life.
Mhm.
But to go back to the other question, this exercise has been going on since 1982.
Oh my gosh, that's longer than I thought, honestly.
So right at the height of the Cold War.
Yep. Which makes sense.
blood.
นะทำไมเราต้องดื่มใช่ไหมครับคือถ้าเราอยู่ในป่านะอันดับแรกก็คือน้ำถ้าเราหาในพื้นที่ไม่ได้นะยกตัวอย่างในประเทศไทยนะค่อนข้างที่จะลำบากนะเพราะว่ามันเป็นป่าร้อนป่าเขตร้อนนะถ้าเราอยู่ในป่าก็คือน้ำไม่มีก็ต้องน้ำในตัวเราก็คือน้ำปัสสาวะต่อไปก็ต้องน้ำในตัวเราหมดก็ต้องพึ่งพาจากเลือดของสัตว์นะสัตว์ทุกอย่างเราสามารถทานได้เราไม่ทานให้อิ่มเราทานแค่เพื่อเอาตัวร
I
อ
guess
ด
that makes a little bit of
ถามว่า
sense.
มี
There is some
บริสิท
water
ธิ์ไหมมีแต่ถ้า
Yeah.
เราอยู่ในป่า
blood, so
เรา
it's
ต้องทาน
better than
นะ
nothing.
ที่เราฝึกได้
It's
ไม่
yeah.
ใช่เพื่อความสะใจเพื่อต้องเป็นเพื่อให้เพื่อเป็นความเท่ไม่ใช่ แต่ฝึกให้เขารู้ว่าถ้าเราอยู่ในป่า เราสามารถทานได้ทานแค่เอาตัวรอดไม่ได้ทานให้อิ่มนี่คือการเอาตัวรอด
They look like sugar cane.
Kind of
อันดับแรกก็คือ
does.
สิ่งที่ถ่ายทอดให้ความรู้กับของคนอเมริกันนี่ผมภูมิใจที่สุดแล้วก็คือเป็นสัมพันธไมตรีอันดียิ่งนะสิ่งที่คนของเขานะเป็นหมื่นเป็นพันเป็นหมื่นที่อยากมาเรียนในตรงนี้นะในตัวรู้สึกตัวของผมเองนะมีความภาคภูมิใจที่คือจะถ่ายทอดวิชาต่างๆที่ผมเรียนมา คือให้เขารู้ได้มากที่สุด แล้วก็อยู่ประเทศไทยได้ปลอดภัยที่สุด
It's an honor working here for Cobra Gold. It's one of the biggest ranges there is, and I've heard people talk about it. I've seen videos on YouTube of it, and I didn't think I would actually be able to be a part of this. And it's actually probably one of the coolest experiences I'm going to have in my life.
There you go.
Yeah. Cobra Gold.
There's Cobra Gold.
That kind of if that doesn't explain kind of the viewers, kind of why me and Josh were pressing the whole Thailand and the United States really like each other thing, that should do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's stuff that our military does with multiple nations around the world. That a lot of people don't know that happens. So that's what's going on in Thailand and Cambodia.
Hopefully it comes to an end soon.
Hopefully.
But to segue over to something that I am actually very versed on, more excited to talk about, and I think every news media outlet forgot about. The question on everyone's mind is what's going on in Ukraine? Well,
yeah. What has been going on in Ukraine since January 25th?
Oh man, yeah, no. So there's a lot of deep history here, but I feel like, man, I was just like me and Josh talked before we start the episodes. It was weird. I was like, have you seen Ukraine on any news lately, like at all?
Well, I don't watch news.
That'd be good for you.
But at least I don't watch television news.
Mm-hmm.
But no, over the last few months, I've not heard much about the Ukraine-Russia conflict.
Yeah. So, well, we all remember February 24th, 2022, Russia initiated their invasion of Ukraine. And I remember I was still in high school and I was talking to a couple of people on my speech team. And before this even happened, I was like, they're totally going to invade them. People are telling me no, they're just pressuring them. I'm like, that's not a military parade or anything. No, they're literally just arming up on the border.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember watching it live, where they flew right into Kiev, and everyone thought it would be over in a couple days. But to everyone's surprise, the little guy punched back really, really hard.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this actually can go back all the way back to, was it 2012, 2014?
2014, the annexed Crimea.
The annexation of Crimea.
Yeah.
Now we're not going to talk about that was Obama's fault.
Yeah, we're not getting into that.
Yeah, that his policies We're not. It's done. It's over with.
Mhm.
But that's where it started. So Putin's ex-KGB.
Yeah.
For those who don't know. So his ultimate goal, I believe, he wants to reestablish the USSR.
Yeah. I mean, because
and Kiev, or not Kiev, but Ukraine is a large portion of that.
Yeah, and they were a storehouse for Soviet weapons, nuclear missiles, everything.
Food is the biggest thing in the old Soviet Union. Ukraine supplied most of the entirety of the USSR's wheat grain supply.
Yeah, and I think that's still their biggest export even today.
Yes. Apart from the nuclear energy that came from Chernobyl, the food is the biggest thing. Russia's a big country.
A lot of mouths
to feed. And so the first step into making sure your people can be fed is to own the food.
Yes. Yeah.
And with the breakup of the USSR, they no longer own the food.
Yeah. So basically, and I agree, Vladimir Putin wants to reestablish the old Soviet Union, right? I mean, after its fall and all the other nations that were under its control got released, we saw a massive downtick because people, I think, truly underestimate how influential the Soviet Union was during the height of the Cold War. Us and the Soviets were the two powerhouses of the world. Like, it was either you were on the side of the United States or you were on the side of the Soviets. There was very little neutrality.
Right.
And I thank God it didn't go hot, because that war would have ended everything.
Yeah, that would have been not fun.
That brings us to today, where Vladimir Putin wants to take Ukraine back. And this has been going on for 3 years now. 3 years. So I think part of it has to go with, I mean, there's a lot to go on about. But so this happened after, not during Trump's first administration, after his first administration, during the Biden administration.
Right.
Where the United States was a massive loaner of aid to Ukraine. Like, under the Biden administration, we gave Ukraine billions and billions of dollars worth of military equipment and training. And the EU kind of followed suit. I remember giving speeches in high school about who's winning the war and what's going on like that. But we've given Ukraine tanks. We've given them access to fighter jets. And even Germany's given them Leopard tanks.
Yeah, they've given them Leopard tanks. I don't think we have given them any tanks.
No, because we really like the Abrams. So we don't give them out that often.
We have given them old Bradleys.
Yes.
But Bradleys are not tanks. They're just tracked infantry vehicles with a really big gun on it. But nowhere near as big as a tank cannon.
No. So,
and we've given them artillery.
Yeah. And so, as this has been going on, it's important for everyone to understand is Ukraine has been able to take back a majority of its territory that's been taken by Russia. And a lot of that is to do with the military aid other nations have given it. Specifically, the United States has given them a bunch, but so is the EU. But so I think it comes down to is, did anybody really expect Ukraine to be able to fight back against Russia, in general?
At the onset of the conflict, personally, I did not. Now, I can debate my personal feelings on should we be involved at all with it. But I didn't think just growing up and hearing how Russia was such a powerful military force. And Ukraine is a big country, but you don't think of them being able to stand up against Russia.
No.
And that's one thing that I have learned in the entirety of this conflict is I am no longer afraid of Russia in a conventional war.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of Putin.
Yeah. I mean, and that's fair because Putin's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I think he could press that button if he gets backed into a corner.
Yeah. Which is why, like, there's a lot we're going to talk about when it comes to Ukraine, but because it's just been going on for so long, there's so many things to discuss.
Yeah.
But like, firstly, I like to talk about not even like the military equipment they've been given, but how much they've been able to do with drones. Ukraine weaponized drone warfare more than any other nation, probably, on the planet. They've been actively using them more, and so is Russia, right? And I mean, even just recently, like yesterday, software groups Arturion is shipping 33,000 AI drone strike kits to Ukraine. So they're just getting more supply to the drones, and I mean, they've been able to take out massive parts of the Russian Navy.
Mm.
I mean, I read somewhere, wonder if I can find it. So, you know how Russia loves military parades, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, I heard they had to stop doing them for their Navy. So, yeah, hang on. I just saw it. Yeah, Russian tones down naval celebrations as drones fly near Putin's hometown. Let me see if I can pull up the article. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. I'm just gonna pull up the article so people understand, and they're just like, "What is this guy talking about?" There we go. Yeah. No, God, no. Thank you. Okay, yeah. Russia held subdued ceremonies honoring its navy on July 27th in St. Petersburg, citing security concerns, and authorities in the surrounding region reporting that air defense forces shot down several drones they said were fired by Ukraine. So Ukraine has been weaponizing drones through this entire war, and it's honestly made me more scared of drones than I have ever. Because, like, this war is just online, and you can hear the drones on the front lines.
Yeah.
Zipping back and forth, and it's horrifying.
Yeah. The drone video that we're getting out of this conflict, like I said before, it is absolutely terrifying. And the accuracy in which these drone pilots have, it's like I had seen a video of the Russian troops are getting smart and covering their foxholes, right?
Like
Putting covers
sealing
on
them.
sealing them, so the bombs can't, because they're dropping grenades and bombs off of these things into trenches and stuff. And well, during the winter in Ukraine, it is really cold. So they have little stoves that they put in their foxholes to keep warm. Well, you have to have a vent pipe for the stove so you don't die from the smoke inhalation. And these pilots have gotten so good that they have been able to get the drone down to the level of the pipe and drop the grenade through the pipe on the stove.
The accuracy is horrifying.
And yeah, it's just they they have invented a new weapon to reduce the amount of hiding space you have on a battlefield.
Yeah, and it is, and like I truly don't think people understand how modern, like, some of Russia's military is fairly modern, like built. It's not just old Soviet stuff, and these drones are just being able to take them out. And
Right.
like specifically, Josh, have you seen the drone attack on the Russian Air Force Base?
Yes.
I have a clip of it if we want to look at it. Yeah, I think here we are.
Night, dramatic new video showing Ukraine's brazen drone attack, setting some of Russia's most valuable warplanes on fire. Those drones smuggled deep inside Russia. Video showing one of them lifting out of its container, heading to its target. Vladimir Putin, according to President Trump, vowing retaliation after a 1-hour phone call between the leaders. President Trump posting, Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack.
Yeah. So Ukraine has just been able to just absolutely just annihilate and get air superiority.
And that attack on those bombers, I think, accounted for like something like 70% of Russia's strategic bombers.
Yeah, they specifically targeted the area where they were. And you can see the things that were on top, like those little black circles. Those were there to throw off drones, and it obviously didn't work.
Right.
And I've seen other things because, like, you can stop drones. Like Russian military convoys have signal interference that doesn't let the drones get close. And I've seen videos of hardwired drones where they are wired into a controller, and they have like a mile worth of cable, and they just zoom into the convoys and blow them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do know our military is developing anti-drone technology.
Every country should at this point.
Right. The biggest one is one of the newest ones. It's called the Leonidas.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a shoulder mount. It looks like a rifle.
Okay.
So it's like shoulder fired, but it fires electronic pulses
and
at the drone, and just disrupts the electric communication, so they just fall out of the sky.
Yep.
I think they're still being tested. So I don't know. They haven't released what the effective range of them are. And they probably never will.
No, they probably won't. But so, like you said earlier, everyone has their own personal opinions on whether the United States should be more involved in Ukraine or not, right? And I don't know if we agree or disagree on that, but I've been very pro-Ukraine personally since the war broke out.
So, go ahead.
So I'm very pro-Ukraine for a couple of reasons, and like if you guys watched last episode, not last episode, the first test episode, we talked about Africa, and we talked a lot about like hegemony and United States priority, and like this entire conflict literally speaks to the United States is an ex-Cold War state trying to stay free. And the United States has taken up this idea of world police, and Russia's never exactly been our friend either.
No.
So I don't see a reason why we should not be supporting Ukraine in general. And during like this administration, we cut Ukraine aid, and there was that like huge embarrassment in the Oval Office between Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, if anybody does not know who he is, and JD Vance and President Trump, where Ukraine's been a valuable ally. And I think personally it's our duty to continue to support them, and I'd even go as far as being okay with putting them in NATO. And I know that stretches things out more than a lot of people do, but you know,
Right. So my thoughts on it. I mean, at the onset of it, I really was kind of neutral.
Mhm.
Not really for it, not really against it. I've always been a person who looks at things like, should we be involved with this?
Mhm.
With Ukraine, before the war started, I really didn't know what our involvement with Ukraine was. Like, I knew we were friendly with each other, but they're not a NATO member.
No.
But that's part of the peace accords we had with the USSR, that the border nations would stay out of NATO.
Mhm.
And I know that was one of the reasons why Putin has cited for invading Ukraine, is that there have been talks of them becoming a NATO country.
Yeah.
And from Putin's point of view, I can understand why he would see that as a threat, right? We would think the same thing if all of a sudden Russia went into peace talks and partnership with Mexico. And we're like, we're going to start putting Russian bases in Mexico.
Yeah.
We would probably object to that.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think we would, but like the other thing is like I truly just think Putin is a horrible human being and will use
most definitely.
Yeah. And I think specifically I'm quoting him as a horrible human being because he is, but also it's the fact that I don't think Putin's scared of NATO. I think he'll use it as an idea of a false flag operation, and that's why he's invading Ukraine. Is because he always claims to be the innocent one when he's the person trying to annex things that he doesn't own,
Right.
trying to rebuild the union.
I would say my current opinion on it is we are involved to the extent that we are just supplying equipment.
Yeah.
As
Nobody's
far as
falling
we
through.
as far as we know, we have no boots on the ground.
As far as we know, we don't have boots
Right.
on the ground.
I would not be surprised if we had assets
Special
there.
ops,
Yeah.
or just somebody there coordinating.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think officially there are American soldiers there, but they're not fighting.
Yeah, they're more their advisory roles.
Like because we had Ukrainians
logistics.
here. We had Ukrainians here in Oklahoma at Fort Sill learning our artillery that we're giving them too.
Yeah.
But so the reason I think like partially is because I think that I'm personally tired of like my tax dollars going to like actually horrible people. And I think Ukraine is like an example of like, yeah, I don't mind my tax dollars being given to Ukraine like that much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, compared to like Israel, right? I'd rather give my money to Ukraine, but we're not talking about Israel.
Yet.
But so, and like even more like Donald Trump like went on this whole thing and he was like, my buddy Vlad, great friends. I gave him 50 days and I think at the moment Putin has like 37 days to meet Trump's deadline to end the Ukraine war. But like, why does Putin care? What are we going to do?
Right. Yeah. Putin does not care. Now, eventually, Putin will run out of men.
Yeah.
And that's been the biggest eye opener for me. Is just how ill-equipped and unprepared the Russian army was for this fight.
Because they thought it would end fast. I think they dramatically underestimated Ukraine.
Yeah. and it's hard to fight a war on foreign soil.
Yeah.
Just logistically, morally, morally in the sense of morale.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, I'm with Trump's sentiment that the war needs to stop.
Yeah.
That was one big thing during his campaign. He just when he was asked, do you think, that Ukraine's going to win or Russia's going to win? And he's like, I just want the war to stop. I want people to stop dying. And I echo that sentiment. Of course, I don't want Russia expanding.
Yeah.
But at this point, I think the only way to get Russia to end the war is that Ukraine is going to have to cede some territory.
Yeah, and I think that's where me and you disagree. Because I think the only way this war ends, and I think the only way that Ukraine will let it end, because like arguably Ukraine's winning right now. They've taken back almost all the territory Russia's taken from them, and they had just gotten permission to start striking in Russia. And in the first couple weeks of them getting that permission, they took down almost 70% of their aerial bombers.
Right.
And I think the only way for this to stop is because Ukraine doesn't want Russian territory. All Ukraine wants is to be left alone.
Yes.
Right. And I think the only way for it to truly end is for Russia to back off its borders. And I think the only scary part is for Russia now Russia knows how aggressive their neighbor is,
mm-hmm.
and how powerful Ukraine is. And I mean, it's not even talking about it. When the war ends, Ukraine is not just going to go back to being a peaceful nation. They're going to keep building up their military.
Yeah.
But
also, I think I agree with you that Ukraine is beating the odds.
Yeah.
At this time. But it also seems that the sentiment from a lot of the Ukrainian people is also they want the war to end.
Yeah. And I mean, like right now, there's also that whole
and it seems like just with our government, that the powers to be in Ukraine are getting rich off of this conflict.
Yes.
And, I know Zelensky, I know there's been a lot of things that's come out about him.
Yeah.
A lot of it's not true.
Yeah.
But he started his presidency in 2019 worth about $1 million.
Mm.
He's now worth around 22 million.
I don't exactly know his net worth. I don't know if there's actually a way. Can you accurately get a president's net worth? Hang on. Zelensky. I just want to look it up. Let me get his current net worth.
I don't think there's like any way to like for
approximately 20 million. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's according to Forbes, which I think is pretty reputable when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to dig around. There's some places that'll say he's worth like almost 100 million or whatever. But yeah, I don't think it's that much.
No, I also know he's donated a bunch of his money back into Ukraine.
I mean, he owns multiple properties in Ukraine. He owns an apartment in the most expensive area of Kyiv.
Yeah. I mean, also before this, he was like really famous because he was a comedian and he was an actor.
Yeah. But there's been protests.
Oh yeah. I mean,
in
just
Ukraine.
Recently.
I mean, just a few days ago, that they want their protests against Zelensky.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy to me because he's been like, overall, he's been very popular, like among everything, and like the corruption.
He's been popular around the world.
Yeah,
but as the war goes on, his popularity within Ukraine has gone down.
Yeah, and I mean, even just now, according to the New York Times, the EU just made a bunch of aid cuts to Ukraine over the corruption scandals that are coming out right now.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it says it's going to cost the country a portion of its foreign aid from the European Union. The European Union said on Friday it would hold 1.5 billion euros or 1.5 billion from an overall fund of 4.5 billion euros, whose disbursements is on achieving good government standards that can't be used for military purchases. The decision's not final, and it could just be restored if they meet the certain benchmarks. But like, obviously here, I've always just seen supporting Ukraine, and maybe this is just me because I've always seen Ukraine as like well, yeah, obviously we should start doing that, but I mean, obviously as time's gone on, it's not, right?
Right. Yeah. And my current sentiment on it is, to the extent that we are already involved, I don't believe that we can stop our involvement.
No,
at
we've already
this
done
point.
too much.
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't want U.S. troops involved.
No, neither do I. There's very few circumstances where I think that a majority of people would be okay with that. Like if like for some reason Russia struck Alaska or something, you know what I mean? Then I'm sure we would put troops in Ukraine, but that's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, this is kind of crazy.
What do you got?
I'm just on Twitter. And this is from July 10th, an article saying that the UK is ready to send British soldiers to Ukraine.
Well, I mean, like,
along with France.
Yeah, cool. I mean, fair game. North Korea sent troops to fight for Russia.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but
and they all got addicted to porn because they found out what the real internet was.
Yeah, I read that. But no, I've always and I always will feel that I think the United States' main goal should not be supporting Russia. Like that. I mean, just think about the Cold War, right? Like, there's never been a point in our time since World War II that we have been friends with Russia for like ideologically differences or just the plain fact we're just different countries with way different beliefs, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, I believe in U.S. hegemony, and I think if we're going to tell the world we're a police force, we should act like it. And as you said, we're already too deep into this to pull out.
Yeah. And I don't know if Ukraine has the manpower alone to endure to the end.
Yeah.
I think they've got the willpower.
Yeah.
But even so, there are a lot of people there are people in the Ukraine are refusing to fight.
Yeah.
They just want it to end. Like, we're not going to fight for you. And I've seen videos of men getting, basically dragged from their homes and being told they have to fight. So it's one of those things, like, if we're already supplying equipment, aid to Ukraine, and if we are committed to this fight until Russia concedes, at some point, I believe NATO will have to get involved personnel-wise.
Yeah, I mean, and this is just like my hot take here. If we just said, hey, we're going to let Ukraine into NATO, they're going to be official member in 2 months. You do with that information as you will, because they will invoke Article 5. I assure you Russia would back off their borders.
This is where it comes back to, I'm afraid of Putin.
Yeah, you could just press a big red button.
Yes.
Right.
That is a very
real scenario.
Real bluff to call.
Yeah.
And he is one of the few people in this world who I think is actually crazy enough to do it.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, I don't think North Korea would. I don't think China would. India, Pakistan, I don't think they would. But Russia, I'm just not sure. Especially because they are being embarrassed right now.
yeah, that's what I was going to segue into. Is Russia is embarrassed, and I think that's what's adding a lot of fuel to the fire. But like, I mean, with all the conflicts going on right now, Ukraine has been the longest ongoing one, I think, up into this moment. And I truly don't know if we'll see an end to it. I hope we see an end to it. I hope it's one that I agree with. But if it's not, at least there's no more bloodshed, because
Yeah,
it's been a bloody war on
Yeah.
both sides.
definitely. And even I brought up the protests and everything
Mhm.
about Ukrainians wanting to end the war. There's also the possibility that those protests are not organic.
No, that's like
to cause instability within Ukraine.
Russian propaganda is a real thing,
Yeah.
people.
I mean, I'm
It
sure
is
there
a
are
real thing.
people, Ukrainians, who want the war ended.
Yeah.
And are tired of, their president just, seemingly just wanting to keep the war going.
Yeah.
Just give me more money, more money, more money, more money.
Yeah,
And
I think part of the reason why Zelensky's doing that is because I think what Zelensky truly wants is just the war to be over. But like I said, Ukraine's not invading Russia here.
right.
They just want their borders solidified. And they might even try to retake Crimea, which rightfully I'm okay with, you know what I mean? Because it was illegally annexed. But either way, I think Ukraine won't stop fighting until their borders are reestablished.
I think there's a large portion of the Ukrainian citizenry that believe that.
Yeah.
That's what they want. But I do think there is another portion that is just like, we can't sustain this. The fighting has to stop.
I think
one
both
way or the other.
countries are just on fumes.
Right. But I don't think Russia will back down under that circumstance.
No, because they just have more.
Right. And that has been their MO since the beginning.
Yeah. And Ukraine's been getting it matched by other nations.
Yeah. Russia has never been very good strategically at war.
No.
They win wars because they throw more people at the war.
And
just beat you through attrition.
The Battle of Berlin.
Yeah.
World War II. Is overtook Berlin with like brute force.
Yeah.
Yeah, just surrounded them.
Yeah, I mean, they would send their men into battle and tell them, if you retreat, we'll kill you ourselves.
Yep. And I mean, truly, I'd like to see if our president is going to taco or not. At the end of the deadline is sent for Putin, because you know what? If he doesn't, it might be something his administration I might like.
Right.
Yeah.
And when is that? How long we got left for that?
I think we got like 37 days.
37 days. Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. A little bit over a month. Because I'm curious what Trump will do. If he'll just be like, okay, if we're going to send like a ridiculous amount of aid to Ukraine, or if we're like,
right. I mean, because Trump has kind of altered course on his opinion on the whole Ukraine war.
Oh, he's totally flip-flopped since his campaign.
Right.
Like,
he has gone,
yeah,
because his campaign thing is, if I'm elected, the war will end in 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
He wants it done. But he has since softened to Zelensky into trying to help us with what we can.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I will touch on this real quick with what we are sending them. All this money, most of it, when you hear we just approved another $2 billion in aid.
Yeah.
Military aid to Ukraine. That's not saying we are giving them $2 billion.
No.
There might be some cash to provide food and stuff or whatever, bounties to pay
Mm-hmm.
the military. But we are sending them that much money in equipment.
Yeah, and it's mostly old equipment.
Old equipment that is going to be retired.
Yeah.
And so if we are sending our old equipment away, we have to replenish.
Mhm.
And that's where that money comes from. That money is being spent. A majority of it is being spent back into the U.S. economy to all of our defense contractors to produce new equipment to replace it. It's just another way to keep that war machine turning.
Yeah. And I mean, there's also like, and something we haven't talked about is like, we know Ukraine's end game is just to get its borders back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's Russia's?
Oh, Russia's end game is to reestablish the USSR.
Yeah, that means invading European countries that are part of the EU. You know what I mean?
They would want, what is it, like all the, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan.
The Soviet bloc states back.
Yeah, they want them all back. And just, but to do that, they need Ukraine first.
Yeah, they need Ukraine.
Because they have to have the food.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But their problem now is they're running out of people.
Yeah, I think that is. Yeah, I think both of them are.
And if it gets to that point, we were talking about inducting Ukraine into NATO, and Ukraine immediately invoking Article 5.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the only reason why I think Russia would back down.
Yeah,
it's just because of they're already massive loss of life.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think the argument that I see most clearly is like, if people, because I think a majority of people agree Putin won't stop with Ukraine, right? And then when it comes to that agreement, then the idea of an Article 5 is relevant in either world if Ukraine gets enlisted into NATO or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
because we during all this, people also forget that Finland became a NATO member.
Yeah, Finland.
And they share a border with Russia.
Yep.
And Russia wasn't real happy about that one either.
No.
But I think that one slipped by because they just have too much to worry about in Ukraine.
Yeah. And they
so that might be the tactic, is going to these other smaller European bloc or Soviet bloc states,
like the Baltics, and stuff like that.
Yeah, Lithuania and them up there, saying, they're busy down there. You're a small country. You want in?
Yeah,
and just slowly assimilate those into NATO, and that might bring enough pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I think also Putin is forcing people to join NATO.
Yes.
Like he talks a big game about how NATO's posturing on its borders, but NATO's never once invaded Russia.
No.
Right? Russia, on the other hand, has invaded people at the threat of them becoming a North Atlantic Treaty Organization member.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it makes like zero sense. I mean, because I'm not gonna lie, the current US administration is not helping my ideas on this, because as we said earlier, Trump's flip-flopped like multiple times on this. And I know that in a phone call Trump had with Putin, he threatened to level Moscow or something like that. Hang on. But what happened to the Trump-Putin relationship in the last 4 years?
I'm not sure. I mean, it really hasn't been talked about.
Mhm.
I mean, he's had 1 or 2 meetings since being inaugurated this last time. But you didn't hear a whole lot
No, you really don't.
about it.
No. Yeah, no, I truly don't understand what's going on at all. But I know we've been talking about Ukraine for a very, very long time. But
Yeah.
yeah. Do we want to segue into Israel, or do you want to stay on Ukraine and save Israel for later?
I mean, we could do either. I mean, we're at an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, we can just keep going down the rabbit hole of Ukraine.
Yeah, because I feel
Just
like
kind of looking at some stuff, and
yeah,
I'm just kind of searching, rolling through Twitter, looking at stuff, and
yeah.
kind of this little clip kind of interests me.
Which one?
So it's War Room. I don't know if this is a Fox News thing, but God dang it. There we go.
Oh my God.
We're going to start to sell weapons for Ukraine, but we're going to sell them to NATO, and then they're going to pay us. So we're actually going to get money for it. Well, a couple of things wrong with that. Number one, NATO is a treaty organization. It's not a arms merchant or arms dealer or.
I don't know if I agree with that.
No,
not at all. I don't agree with that at
I
all.
mean, NATO is a treaty organization, but specifically a military treaty organization.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
after 9/11, we invoked Article 5, and it was a lot of weapons dealing to other
Yes.
nations, and
Yeah.
we rolled into the Middle East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole idea is an attack on one NATO member is an attack on NATO.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
all those other countries will join the fight in whatever way able.
Yeah.
That includes the delivery of weapons.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
I don't know what Ben Franklin's saying here.
An army. There's no such thing as a NATO army. It's a treaty. I guess you could repurpose it for that, but that's the first problem. They don't buy arms. They never have. This unprecedented. Number two, where's the money coming from? Germany, UK, France, Italy. Italy's basically said we're out of this game. Spain has no interest, but even Germany, France, and the UK don't have the money for this. They all have budget problems. They do not have robust military budgets. There's no unified fund for it, so not clear where the money's coming from.
Didn't Germany just pledge a buku of money to reinforce their own military?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you when this clip's from, but I see a bunch of like ICE arrest stuff on the bottom, so I'm assuming
so
it's pretty
fairly
recent.
new. Yeah, so it's like
Yeah, I
Germany
don't know.
obviously has money.
Yeah, I don't think there's a thing this guy's saying that I think's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, NATO does not have an army.
No, it has multiple armies.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea of a treaty organization.
Yeah.
It
mean,
doesn't need its own standing army or own standing government.
No, and arguably you could say the United States has a headship in NATO.
Yeah, we are the army of NATO.
Yeah, we are NATO. Yeah.
Number three, the U.S. doesn't have the weapons. We've completely run down our supplies of 155 millimeter shells, Patriot anti-missile batteries. We have some, but they're supposed to be in the United States to protect the United States, or they're going to go to Israel. We're not selling any to Ukraine or to NATO to be.
It kind of already touched on this.
Yeah.
They will be replenished. We will not allow ourselves to deplete our own stores.
Yeah. And then he also touched on the other fact that I said was I would much rather sell them to Ukraine. But you know what I mean?
I have a feeling our Israel discussion is going to be fun.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to save it and not just cut it
Yeah.
short.
delivered to Ukraine. How many do the Europeans have? A handful, like 3 or 4 here. They don't have, 10 or 14 or whatever Zelensky was talking about. And number 4, every one of
I
these
need to go back.
Zelensky was talking about. And number 4, do the Europeans have? A handful.
Is this guy in his living room?
We're not selling any to Ukraine or to NATO to be delivered to Ukraine. How many do the Europeans have? A handful, like 3 or 4 here. They don't have
About. I don't remember.
I don't know what he's.
5mm shells, Patriot anti-missile batteries. We have some, but they're supposed to be in the United States to protect the United States, or they're going to go to Israel. We're not selling any to Ukraine or to NATO to be delivered to Ukraine. How many do the Europeans have? A handful, like 3 or 4 here. They don't have, 10 or 14 or whatever Zelensky was talking about. And number 4, every one of these.
Okay, so those weapon systems that he was talking about are U.S. weapon systems.
Yeah.
The ones that our NATO allies have, they bought from us.
Yeah.
So they are already buying equipment and arms from us.
Yeah, we sell a lot of military equipment to our European allies.
Yeah. Just
Mainly
ask
because-
Poland.
Yeah. I mean, our military budget is almost some of their economies.
Right. Poland is buying everything they can get their hands on from us.
Good for Poland.
Yeah,
That's-
little European Texas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what this guy is talking about.
Yeah,
He's-
and I'm trying not to disagree with the founding father, but I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah, it is kind of uncanny.
yeah,
Has failed. We've been doing this for 3 years, over 3.5 years at this point. They've all failed.
yeah. I don't know what the war room is. Is that on Fox?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Might be
I-
some independent, like OAN type of.
Yeah, I have no clue what that guy was talking about at all.
I mean, he sounded intelligent, but
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of what I tell new kids on speech. I'm like, hey, if you just sound confident, people believe you. But no. Yes.
oh, this might be fun.
What do you got?
Let me pull this up here. So this tweet has a video that it says Russia started its special military operation in Ukraine to stop the 8-year genocide that started with the U.S.-backed coup in 2014, which led to the 8-year civil war in which Kyiv regime has been deliberately shelling minority civilians in the Donbass.
Is this just Russian propaganda you're going to show me? This sounds like
Instead
a
of
lot.
defending democracy and human rights, U.S. and NATO were actively arming Kyiv regime with no regard for how these weapons were being used or by whom.
Yeah, you notice the wording? Regime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not heard this angle.
Yeah, because it's just Russian shoveling random facts at you. Well, not even facts, just lies.
What's Trey Gowdy have to say?
Yeah, episode 2, we get taken down for spreading Russian propaganda.
Right. I mean, well, let's just see what this guy has to say.
Yeah.
No.
The thing is, with this conflict, it's actually started in 2014. We had the Minsk Agreement.
There's the first problem. He's British.
Oh, God.
There was an agreement between NATO powers and Russia and Ukraine to give Crimea autonomy and to give the Russian-speaking people in the Donbass autonomy as well. But those agreements are broken. And what you have is the Ukrainian regime, the Poroshenko and then the Zelensky regime afterwards, have been bombing and shelling ethnic Russians in the Donbass area for 8 years, with 14,000 people at least being killed. And so I think what's happened there is that Putin has basically gone in what he calls a special military operation operation in order to try to protect the lives of Russian people in the Donbass, because Western governments in NATO were actively arming the Ukrainian government.
So is that true?
So
That part of it, were we bombing Russians in the Donbass, or was Ukraine bombing Russians in the Donbass area in Crimea?
Oh, that's a good question.
But again, it goes back to that situation. It's like Crimea was part of Ukraine and Russia took it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be here
And
be
if
like,
the
"Oh,
Ukraine and if
no."
Ukraine was bombing ethnic Russians in territory that should still be Ukrainian, are we really mad about that?
So I just hang on. I don't want to listen to the French. Hang on. There we go. Let's go to the Human Rights Watch. They're not bad. Let's see what we got. Ukrainian government forces used cluster munitions in populated areas in Donetsk city in early October 2014. The use of cluster munitions in populated areas violates the law wall. So they were bombing.
So they were targeting civilians with
Well, I don't know if they
munitions.
were necessarily targeting civilians as they were
just as populations.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of stuff going on. Because keep in mind, this is what's going on. But let me double check.
Again, this is another Thailand, Cambodia situation.
Yes, except this one.
Crimea.
This is an example of what happens when the conflict doesn't end.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the war in Donbass was a phase of the Russo-Ukrainian War in eastern Donbass region of Ukraine, began on April 2014, when Russian paramilitary seized several towns. Ukraine's military launched an operation against them, but failed to retake it. Russia's military were directly involved in the separation. The separationists were largely under Russian control. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, Russia.
So Russia took Crimea.
Yeah, and
the people of most of the people, and they're saying that a majority of the people that lived in Crimea were Russian,
like ethnic Russian,
ethnic
so Russian
Russians.
ties. And this is to also like be clear. This is language Vladimir Putin uses all the time because he wants to reunite all ethnic Russians. So if they were, we all know what that means, right? They speak Russian. If they have Russian heritage, he wants them back in Russia, right?
Yeah, it's the old Adolf.
Yeah. Aryan thing, but yeah. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, bombing civilians is good. It's not, right? No. But I mean, that's not justification to try to annex a whole country.
No.
Which actually is filled with real Nazi battalions like the Azov battalion and the Right Sector and so on. So it's not quite.
Okay, this is something that I've been wanting to look into a lot more.
Yeah.
It is something that I've heard that there are high-ranking officials in the Ukrainian army who have Nazi ties, like actual Nazi ties, and that there are high-ranking officials with swastika tattoos on them, and
I think most of that is Russian propaganda.
It's just something that I've been wanting to look into. I mean, we don't have to get into it now, but
yeah. So
I've not seen any. I'm not saying it is true or false.
Yeah.
I just have not seen anything to validate those claims.
Okay, so Putin has stated that the move. Okay. That this requires a lot more deep diving because you have to dig through all the obviously fake news and
right.
Because obviously there's neo-Nazis in Ukraine. Like there's neo-Nazis everywhere.
Yeah.
But who truly knows what's going on?
Okay. Let's continue.
as how you laid out in your question. And the thing is, I think people in this country are completely fed up of it because it's got really nothing to do with the lives of ordinary people in the UK, and are fed up of the government, the power in London, sending billions and billions of pounds of money and weapons to Ukraine when actually energy prices are going up here. Life is tough here. And we want the government to be concerned about what's happening in this country and not prolonging and escalating a conflict in Ukraine, which could get out of hand.
Sure.
So yeah, that last part I
Sure.
can agree with.
And I'm sure the UK has different problems than the United States does.
They have a lot of problems right now.
Yeah, because there was that whole gas situation and oil. The Russia shut off their taps for a while.
Yeah, and Britain is having their own migrant crisis stuff going on, which could be another episode.
Yeah.
But I can agree with that. I think most populations of most countries would want their governments to
Take care of them
focus on their own people first.
Yeah, and I get that.
And it does seem like a lot of first world countries seem to put others first.
Yeah.
I
mean,
but I'm not, like I said, you have said that you believe in the American hegemony.
Yep.
That our presence there is a moral good and good for the rest of the world.
Yeah, that is something I do believe.
And it's one of those things that we as a people, if you agree with that, that comes at a cost.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that cost is those creature comforts that we are used to as a first world country.
Yeah. And as I've also said before, which is a way deeper conversation, is I believe we can have creature comforts with still projecting ourselves on the world stage.
Yes. And that would require our government to actually
function
correctly and frugally.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no reason for the federal government to be spending money the way it does.
No, but that was we're coming close to the end. But that was a good episode.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. I think personally, I learned a lot about Thailand and Cambodia. That was something I was not super versed on one bit before I started researching for this episode.
Not at all. Like I said, I saw a short video on it, I think on Friday. And that's all I've heard about it. The only other thing that I know about that was from the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
That Vietnam had, I don't think annexed, but was pushing into Cambodia in order to flank South Vietnam. And there were some battles between us and North Vietnam in Cambodia. Some of the bloodiest battles.
Yeah.
That really don't get talked about a whole lot.
Yeah, maybe in future episodes we can do a history segment.
Yep.
Yeah. There's lots of stuff we can do, folks. There's lots of things.
Yep. And to end the episode on a strange note.
No, Lord. Here
we're talking about Ukraine and the horribleness that is going on in Ukraine.
Yeah.
While also dealing with the war, they're also dealing with this. Do I not have volume? Is there no volume on this? Oh, that's stupid.
Are those birds?
This is a swarm of locusts.
Oh, God. Is this in Ukraine?
They are dealing with an outbreak of locust. They're contributing it to a hot, dry summer, but also the lack of agricultural care being taken to their farmlands because of the war.
Yeah. Well, swarm of locusts is in 2025. What do you know?
Right.
Uh,
You know,
but
it,
Yeah.
it was a bad thing during Moses's time. It's still a bad thing today.
Yeah. Well, I think this is coming to concluding episode 2 of our generational hate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any ideas for our midweek episode?
I was thinking we can talk a little bit domestic.
Okay.
Maybe get into some of the more interesting subjects. Maybe even talk about Epstein.
Okay.
What's going on there?
I think we can do an hour on Epstein.
I think that's an easy hour we could do on Epstein.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out all the other socials. And if you have any video ideas, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, let us know.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I hate to be this person, but like, comment, subscribe. It helps. It really does help get us out there. Share the videos.
Mhm.
We've got a public Facebook group
Mhm.
that we'd like to have you over there. We've got about 60 members at the moment. And it's just going to be an extension of what we do here, just an open discussion forum where you can talk amongst other people and be civilized. So
Be civilized. That is the goal of generational hate.
Yep.
It's just good conversations.
So we will see you. We don't know exactly if it's going to be Tuesday or Thursday this week. So just pay attention to those socials and we'll let you know.
Of course. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Have a good night.
Mhm.